Mr. You see, I need to do this. And before I do that, let me lay the foundation based on your submissions. Very respectfully, listening to you carefully, one gets the impression that you believe that the status quo should remain so that we find a way of resolving the crisis with the current conditions. Why do I say so? You have talked about 3 million people who are depending on small-scale mining. The economic benefits to these 3 million people. Then you have also painted a chaotic situation where if you don't issue the licenses at the rate at which you are issuing the licenses, then the illegal miners will take over. Listening to you carefully, one will have thought that the chaotic situation, the jungle system which we have now, where even people who decide to go through due process and to obtain all the licenses, and I have LI 2462 here. If you look at the first schedule of LI 2462, in terms of the conditions that these miners have to meet after obtaining the mineral right, before any mining can be done, they must obtain an environmental permit under the Environmental Protection Agency Act 1994, Act 490, and the Environmental Assessment Regulations 1999, LI 1652. They must also obtain a water use permit from the Water Resources Commission under the Water Resources Commission Act 1996, Act 522, and Water Use Regulations 2001, LI 1692. They must also secure a mining operating permit from the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission under the Minerals and Mining Health, Safety and Technical Regulations LI 2182 of 2012. Then they must also secure a forestry entry permit from the Forestry Commission under the Minerals and Mining Act, 2006, Act 703, the Forestry Commission Act 1999, Act 571. You are telling this committee that even before they meet these regulations, there are many instances where the illegal miners encroach, take over their concession. And so sometimes, seeing what is happening, they cannot wait. And so you say that sometimes you have sympathy for them for not waiting and also jumping into the fray and engaging in an illegality. Is this not the reason why we should just stop everything? And as organized labor, the coalition against the mining crisis, the Catholic Bishop Conference, the Apostolic Fathers, all the young people of our country who have been demonstrating over the last few weeks, civil society organizations, what everybody is saying is that we are in a crisis. So it cannot be business as usual. Something ought to be done. You have talked about our fellow citizens who are mining in the north and other parts where they don't have river bodies, saying that it doesn't concern them. Why should they be affected? We all know that it affects all of us. We know that it will affect them. I have the Hansard here, the Minister for Water and Sanitation, countless occasions, complaining about the turbidity levels and how cost of processing water keeps going through the roof. They want more money from Parliament. The money is not available in our country. And Ghana Water is saying very soon they will import water. Can these fellow citizens who are mining elsewhere afford this imported water? And then the health hazards. So because of the financial benefits for some 3 million people, the over 30 million should suffer. So, Mr. Isi, we want to situate this discussion within the context of the crisis we face now. And it cannot be a business as usual discussion. We want a radical approach, a new way of addressing the menace. Because if not, if it's just business as usual, we'll finish today's proceedings. The recommendations we'll send to Parliament, the plenary, will be the same old caboodle, and nothing will change. I talked about what we want to do. Over the weekend, we have been visiting our river bodies, just this weekend, and we brought samples here. This is the Volta River, which is the cleanest, which is how really all our river bodies should look like. We have here the Subin River. And we say, you see, the Subin River. Yes, in the Kumasi area, in the Ashanti region. We have River Ofin, you know. I'm sure viewers will think that we are preparing to take Milo or coffee, you know. This is the Birim River. This is the Ewene River, you know. And we also went to the Pule River. And we couldn't find hope anywhere. There was no succor, no solace. Everywhere we went to, this is Manfi. When we went to Pra, also terrible. The Oda River, no hope. And Cobra was even worse. Then River Ofin. And this is the Huni River. So, Mr. Isi, this is what we are dealing with. It's only the Volta River that gave us a little hope. You know, even that we are hearing that it is just a matter of time, because the solar area, we are told that the White Volta is beginning to interface and defile the Volta River as well. So, Mr. Isi, the Ghanaian people seeing this don't expect their leaders, all of us inclusive, all of us. This one is not, we don't have to, we all have to take collective responsibility, because as Parliament, we are also approving these policies, these resource allocations, these institutions who come to report to us and justify why a certain allocation was properly utilized. We've been doing all these anti-galamsey operations for years, which this House has approved, running into billions. And every year, we appear to be complicit somehow when we approve judicious use of the previous year's resources and then give the institutions more resources to go and stop galamsey. And yet, this is where we are as a country. So, Mr. Isi, we want you to really proffer new solutions. How can we stop this? How can we get all our rivers And they are all gone. All our rivers are gone, except the Volta River, which we are told is just a matter of time. So this is the context. This is the crisis we face. And it affects all of us, whether where you are mining is not close to a river or not, whether you are not engaged in mining at all, like most of us here. We will drink water. We will buy food. Today we'll be having a lunch break. I don't know the restaurant that Madame Jiage ordered our lunch from, what kind of water they used. We don't know where the water came from. We will have our lunch break with fish that we don't know which of the rivers they came from. And we will be consuming all of these chemicals. The cyanide, the mercury is going into our system. The doctors are warning that we are surely candidates for cancer. And now we are also told that dialysis patients are at an all-time high. The renal unit at Kolebu is under pressure. You know, we can't even take care of the bills and subsidize the patients. So, Mr. Isi, this is the crisis we face. And this committee, we don't want to, you know, hear the same business as usual, with all due respect. We trust your expertise, your competence, but this is the crisis we are dealing with. We are faced with an existential threat. And we want to hear you. If the Ghanaian people seeing this and they conclude that leadership has failed them, particularly the Minerals Commission has failed them, what will be your response? And what is the new paradigm, respectfully, that you are proposing as the way forward, as the chief regulator of the mining space?
Chair, thank you very much. Chair, I'll raise 4 fundamental issues, and I want members to listen carefully and then look at it from a different angle. Chair, let me repeat. Until we put money in geological investigations and adopt a more aggressive approach in investigating all these several thousands of blocks that Minerals Commission has designated as blockade areas, with the view to investigating them and then defining all bodies so that we give it out to the small-scale miners, then we should forget about the issue, because the problem will not go away. So if you ask me, one radical approach, one aggressive approach is that what we've not done well, or what we have joked with for the last 30 years, is what we have to do now. That we have to take money, give it to geological survey. I said some pilots are being done, Boomfa, Block, Dunko, and Newtown, but it's just a drop in the ocean. Looking at the 13 regions we have to...
Let me say, you see, do you have an idea how much we will need for that geological survey?
Even if you ask me, anything around $10 million, you know, and the money you have to be given every year, we can even start with $5 million. See the equivalent of $5 million. $10 million, even if you use 16, that's how much? 160 million. Did I get it right? Yeah, even 100 million to geological survey. Because they have the equipment. They've gotten a new rig now. They have the equipment. And they are not the only people who can do it, apart from geological survey, which is the government and explorer. And because of the sheer numbers involved, we are no longer talking about 5 regions. We are talking about 13. Even my own OT, we are beginning to see gold now. I was home just this weekend to celebrate the Yam Festival because I'm the chief of Rara. We don't have a paramount chief, so as continue, you are in charge. And people are saying, "Oh, Nana, there's good all over this place." My grandfather used to tell me, and my late father. And
so Nana,
my first point, radical.
Yes, we'll come to your point. Just for our record, you keep talking about the 13 regions. We need to know for our record, what are the 3 regions that are out?
Greater Accra, Greater Accra,
Greater
even
Accra.
though some mining takes place because quarries are considered mining. And then the two regions where I come from, Volta and Odoti.
Okay.
Yes, I'm talking about gold because that's a fundamental
Okay,
issue.
so these are the only three
These
regions.
are the, other than that, the others is all over the place.
Okay.
Yes, and the radical solution is to embark on aggressive geological investigation. Don't just rely on geological survey. There are several Ghanaian geologists who are registered to provide exploration services to Minerals Commission. Westfield, they are all over the place. Geomining, they are all over the place. So we can just give some of the money to geological survey, some to geomine, and all these private people to do it. Trust me, if you release a lot of money now, in the next 6 months, you start seeing areas that we can be licensing. Because what is causing the haphazard digging? Try your error. You dig everywhere. So for me, that's number one. We have to start it now aggressively. I'm saying government has released some funds to us for Bonfa, Dunkwa, and Newtown. Newtown as in Western region. These are being done by Geological Survey and UMAT. So the solution now is to release money aggressively to private people, exploration companies, the universities, and Geological Survey. They go out there, and all the areas we've designated already, I already know, they start exploring. 6 months, you start seeing results.
Chairman, just forgive me, I didn't intend to come in at this point, but with your permission. Mr. Isis said earlier that the Geological Survey already has a rig, and that it will not cost that much because of the availability of the rig if we were to invest in the Geological Survey. But then in the subsequent submissions, you are suggesting private, geological surveyors. I don't get that, drift. If the state has capacity, why have you all of a sudden, in the same breath, bringing in private developers? Private developers who, by the way, in some cases are even responsible for these troubles that we have.
Let me explain. In his summary, and then the question he posed, basically speaking the minds of 35 millions, he said, radical solution. Geological Survey has expertise, but in the situation, Honorable Senior, that we find ourselves through the chair, they can't cover the whole country within this short time for us to start releasing the blocks to these millions of people who want to work lawfully. They cannot. They have the, let me explain, please. Respectfully, they have the expertise, they have the rig, but I'm talking over several 20,000 plus square areas designated by MINCOM. They cannot cover 13 regions within a short time for us to start releasing blocks for them. So I'm saying that whilst they may be investigating the place all over the areas, as a radical approach to free up more areas so that results can come out quickly, let's also bring in these seasoned Ghanaian geologists who have, registered with MINCOM to also explore the other areas. Because Geological Survey cannot cover all the 16 regions within a short time, unless you want to say 5, 10, 15 years. But we are saying radical solution. So they can say, okay, we're going to do part of Ashanti, we're going to do Eastern region, we're going to do this thing. Within 6 months to 1 year, we can come out with some deposit that we can give it out to these cooperatives and small-scale miners. But if we want it quickly, we need to bring in other people to come and help. That's what I'm saying. Because we need quick results. The miners will not wait for you. So engage the other explorers. We can start with the Geological Survey, the key mining areas. We know them. Ashanti, Western, Savannah, etc. Let them start. You see, the alternative will also to hire more geologists for Geological Survey and give them more resources so that they can cover more areas. But time is of essence if the definition of radicalism is anything to go by. So identify very good, and our geologists are world class, not just Africa. Geoman, Westfield, all these Ghanaians, all the large scale companies, the exploration is being done by Ghanaians. Mineral Exploration Service and Area Reserve for Ghana. There are several of them. Then you can give them some of the resources. Let's do them. For now, Geological Survey and UMAT. UMAT is doing the Newtown block. The Bonfa and Dunkwa money is coming from World Bank and some small from MINCOM. It's not enough. So I'm just talking about timing. or else geological survey will take a long time, and the numbers will keep going up. And you heard me a short while ago in my introductory remarks, what is even driving the craze further is a high price, to the extent that what have been dumped, what we call tailings and waste, 2-3 years ago, they are even going back to them. So, Honorable Suini, the private thing coming here is for us to quickly get more areas, deal with the huge numbers, since geological survey cannot cover more areas. Unless they come and tell us that, oh, maybe we have 40 geologists. If we want to cover the whole Ghana, then let's recruit 100 more geologists, which we can get because of our expertise. Then in that case, they say, okay, if we get 200 geologists, we can do the work ourselves. Can you do that with 1 or 2 rigs? I doubt. So that is my suggestion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm actually eager to hear the other 3 solutions that you will give. But I keep noticing some contradictions that I will want you to clarify before you give us the other 3. And I plead that you do that, in very, very, as briefly as possible. I plead that you do that. Now, it seems to me, listening to you, that you are more focused on us issuing licenses to people who apply speedily, because you think that it is a solution. But even in your submissions, you admit, or you admitted, that some of the people with licenses also engage in irresponsible mining. And an example which you refer to without mentioning the name was Akonta mining with the Tano Nimrimi forest and others, who may have licenses but may engage in irresponsible mining, or even go to places to mine that their licenses don't cover. So I'm wondering how licensing is automatically a problem. I mean, it is automatically a solution when the facts on the ground is actually that people with licenses have also been caught engaging in irresponsibility. So your push for, okay, let's get geological service to rapidly, map up the area so we quickly issue licenses to people as a solution makes me rather think that it is about licensing irresponsibility. Or just because people engage in irresponsibility, give them licenses to continue engaging in it, and that makes it right. I don't think it does.
Honorable Chair, I love this question and I'll explain. I'll be very blunt and honest. The example you use may not be right for this one, because I heard you mention Akunta mining. I think you saw our press release, which even Martin, people always keeps mentioning my name. I've not met him in person, but never mind. I think you also raised it. I mean, it was clear from minister's response and Minerals Commission information that all the authorization and approvals, as I have been explaining repeatedly, were not obtained. So that one, it is settled. 2, Honorable Chair, and everybody seated here, I will not deceive you. Licensing is one of the causes of illegal mining. At least I know that for 22.5 years. One of the causes. One of the causes. But as I said, I can give you 100 causes of illegal mining, but out of the 100, the one that is a headache which I keep driving home that if we don't solve is the one that I've just discussed. The geological survey investigation. And trust me, Honorable Ekujeto, if we don't deal with that problem, forget it. Deploy the entire Ghanaian battalion. Let's also give arms and everything to some of us as vigilante. The problem will not go away. And by far, it's not everybody who is honest. Why are you having mining behind a police station? How is good getting out of this country? Is it everybody that you put there? But we are in this country, cocoa gets smuggled. We used to put soldiers across the border. What is happening? I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm being honest with you and telling you what is on the ground. So for me, geological survey is a solution. And it may not solve the problem overnight because we refuse to do it over 30 years. It will take some time. But if you want to do it aggressively, to use the word radical, let's start now. Quickly, let's start now. Unless you want to say that we don't want to mine mining. We don't want to do mining. We want to ban mining. We don't want it again as a government policy. So apart from geological investigation, which are ranked 9 over 10, the other one too is that we are also saying that if you don't license people, they'll go ahead and do it illegally. That is a fact. If you don't license people. And I've said it before, in my introductory remarks, that there are more people doing it illegally than those who are licensed. And the illegal people, there are serious categories. Those who don't have licenses, that's the bulk of them who are doing it without permits. They are there on land. They are there. And then there are people who are mining areas that ordinarily compare rules will not allow. Will not allow you to go into the water body. Will not give you license for you to go and do mining in forest reserve small scale. If the place is hilly, will not allow. The Konongo thing, which is an embarrassment to all of us, we didn't sanction it, will not allow. The officer, in his wisdom, will not process that area. The officer will not give licenses in between alleys. Because if you take Konongo, Honorable Suini, they dig their houses. That's how you can have the 2018 phenomenon. They dig their houses. The place is walled up. Oh, they are there digging their houses. Alleyway. You saw that a report that UTV carried in the station area there where a chief is involved. Do you understand that? Or down that area there. People are digging their houses and all that. I mean, these are places that people are not licensed. But what I'm trying to say is that at least the areas that we find suitable, let's license them. Or else, for example, this can't mine frequency thing. If you don't do it, what is the alternative? Then let's go and remove them. But my officer has convinced me that based on his mine engineering knowledge, what he has seen, let's quickly give them gold catcher, move them in, and let them start working. I believe in that strongly. What will be the alternative? Get security to go and evict them because they don't have permits. And I'm also supporting that because it's underground. That's the kind of thing we are pushing for. So those areas that are not ecologically very sensitive, quickly help them to do it properly. Assist them and formalize it for them. But this water body thing, there are no apologies.
Yeah, so Mr. AC, how do you explain a situation where from the evidence, looking at the data you have presented and from your own Ghana Mining Repository, you did indicate a while ago that in 2022, when you went round, this was not how our river bodies were looking.
No, I said 2002.
Oh, 2002.
And that is 22.5 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah, so just
I said
for clarity.
2002. That's 22 and a half years ago when I was then an assistant legal officer at Minerals Commission. I didn't see this. That's what I mean. Not 2 years ago, no.
Okay, so 2002.
Yes. This did not start overnight. 2002. That's 22 years. I got a job at Minerals Commission 2nd April 2002. Yes. That time, we didn't see this kind of thing. In the so-called 5 regions when small scale started, barely 100,000 people.
Good.
That's what I meant.
Thank you very much. So this really helps me with the question I want to ask. By 2002, according to your mining repository, there were less than 100 licenses that had been issued. Now we have a situation where we seem to have a very efficient and generous licensing regime where you are doing it, you say that in weeks when they apply, you are not allowing delays at all. And we see from the data that more and more licenses are being approved. Indeed, from your repository, we see start dates for mining. You have given the green light for as recent as 3rd October, just last week, 3rd October this year. So the question is, how is it that if the argument is that the more licenses you give, the better the situation in terms of responsible mining, you are bringing everybody into the net so that you can supervise them, and then we can have a safe environment? How is it that it is the opposite, the contrary, which is occurring, where the more licenses you are issuing, the more the degradation, the more the environmental destruction, the more devastation, the more, illegalities we see all over the place? I mean, how is it that the theory, which is, I'm sure, the textbook theory, is not applying in this case, where you are issuing more licenses, all right, but it is not improving the crisis? The crisis is getting worse by the day. How do you explain that?
Yeah. Let me explain it this way. You see, there are more people who are mining or undertaking what we will call illegal mining, per definition I gave you, than those who are lawfully, permitted to do it. What is driving that? There are no areas for them to work. I want that settled. And the numbers. At first, as I said, we're dealing with 5 regions. Technology has made all body that hitherto you couldn't mine, mineable. So all of a sudden, 13 regions, you find this thing going on. So sheer numbers. And people are doing it. So my point is that the few that want to do it lawfully, if you don't license them, they join the ranks of the several thousands that are doing it unlawfully. That's number one. Number two, there are some areas where, come what may, there is no way a Minerals Commission district officer will permit you to do it. No Minerals Commission officer will allow you to work in between houses, will allow the Konongo kind of thing. No Minerals Commission officer will give you permit to go and mine directly and mount those chamfer or floating devices in Brim and Cobra. But for some people, they prefer to go to the Pine and Cobra. So my argument is that even for those who want to do it lawfully, where the rules permit, if you don't even allow them to do it, they will join the ranks of those people. That is my argument. Number two, Honorable Chair, there are some areas that we have found that they started doing it. And per the inspection or survey by the officer realized that, they didn't have the appropriate authorization or permit. But for some reason, if it looks at the area and what they are doing, we can allow them to do it lawfully. So quickly, what do? You formalize them and fast track the licenses for them. So for example, I would prefer that the Kandema and then the Fumbisi team will move quickly, give them the license, give them the gold cutter, they are doing it underground, and let them do it lawfully and license them. What would be the alternative if, let's say, we don't allow them? The alternative is to go and tell them that they are illegal people, stop it, or we'll get you arrested. They may move, or you go there, go and arrest a few people, or they'll come at night. Other than that, then you have to police the place 24 hours. Non-income is a security agency able to police that deep down village there. Are you getting my point? So, I want to bring more of the Kandema and the Fubisi type of thing into the realm of legality. And also those areas that are good to go, we license them. Or else, the Kandema, Fubisi, and these areas that we are licensed, if you don't do it, they will dread the several other millions of thousands to continue to do it illegally. In areas that I will not be in the position to police.
Just a little interjection, very useful, so that we don't forget about this important point. This your Fumbusi Kandema doctrine. Mm-hmm. Have you looked at the flip side? Can't it also lead to more lawlessness, where illegal operators will say that we too, we are going to start, do whatever we want to do, besiege an area once we see that we can mine gold here. And then when the Minerals Commission discovers us, they should regularize us. Won't it lead to more lawlessness,
Chair.
more impunity?
Chair,
That is our fear.
No, Chair, respectively, no. It's not all areas that we can license. In fact, if you submit a cadastral map right now, we check it in the system, and it's free. When it says a place is free, it simply means that it's not incumbent. It means that potentially a license will be granted over the place. If the district officer goes to the ground and he doesn't find the place suitable, it's in a close to the water body, it's in a hilly area there. If there's a problem, the town gets flooded, etc., he will not approve it. So there have been instances where several licenses have been rejected where the place is free, but we have not granted it. Such people, they go and do it illegally. You see, so the Kandema thing is one out of several cases where you should rather help them get formalization. So it's not a license for lawlessness. No. There are so many places we will not allow. We've been rejecting. It's too close to the water body. It is Wamsa side. Is this. But this area, I would think that we should do it for them because you see, currently they are using mercury. But we're going to give them gold catcher. So you have discouraged the use of mercury. He's going to recover more. He's going underground. We even help them sink boreholes like we did for Bongo. This is what we are talking about when we say formalization, which doesn't end today. That's what I'm talking about. So, Honorable Kujeto, is not a license to say, oh, let's go in there, and then, like the way people are jumping on the last, practically almost every last case, company has a complaint about people jumping on their concessions. Yes, and some of us are not in support of licensing for them because it is just wrong. Or else, before I realize, we will become a disincentive for investment. You know, every prospecting license, people will mass on it and they say, oh, yeah, Minerals Commission, don't worry. No, that's not what I'm suggesting.
CEO,